Welcome into the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Today's show, Chiefs Mock Draft 3.0, and yes, it's a mock draft that features trades, so stay tuned for that. Obviously, the Chiefs' biggest needs include left tackle, biggest need out there still, wide receiver, cornerback, edge, and linebacker. I would say those are your top 5 needs, and for our mock drafts, we use the Pro Football Network Simulator. They do a great job over there. So Chiefs draft picks, before we get into this mock, are as follows. Number 31 in round 1, round 2, number 63 overall, and then number 94 pick in the 3rd round. And then your day 3 picks, a couple of 4th round picks, couple of 5th round picks, and then 1 6th round pick. No 7th round pick for the Chiefs this year. But remember, this mock draft features a few trades, so we'll see if some of these trades picks will change. They certainly will do just that. Before we get into our first pick, if you're ready for the NFL draft, I want you guys to like this video. Give us a big thumbs up on today's show. NFL draft, less than 2 weeks away. I'm fired up about it. I hope you guys are too. If you're ready, give us a big thumbs up. And hey, who doesn't want the NFL draft to be here? I know I do, so like the video. All right, trade alert right off the bat. We're going to move up in the 1st round. I'm going to move up with Minnesota all the way from 31 to number 14 overall. I send the 31 this year, our 1st round pick next year. I also send the Vikings the Chiefs' 2nd round pick this year. So 2 firsts and a 2nd to move up 17 picks in round 1. And probably you guys are saying, why are you doing that? Why are you moving up? Why are you giving up draft capital? Because in this particular mock draft, Penei Sewell out of Oregon fell to number 14 overall. I thought the opportunity was too good to pass up because, as you guys know, the Chiefs desperately need a left tackle. They need to replace Eric Fisher. They made a run at Trent Williams in free agency. That did not work out. In this mock draft, Rashawn Slater went over Sewell, and he slid a little bit, and I took that opportunity, and I ran away with it. I move up and get a left tackle who I think could be a stud for a decade plus. I highly doubt he'll fall to 14 in the actual draft, but there has been some chatter he could slide a little bit. If he does, this is incredible value, and I think the Chiefs could look into trading up like I did in this mock draft. Obviously, you look at this offensive line. If you plug in Sewell at left tackle there, you go Sewell, Tooney, Blythe, LDT, or Kyle Long. I think they'll compete at right guard. And then Lucas Niang or Mike Rimmers at right tackle. That is a formidable offensive line if you got a guy like Penei Sewell in the 1st round, which is why I sent, significant draft capital to move up and go get the left tackle out of Oregon. Did opt out last year, only 22 career starts, but you're talking about a generational talent at 6'6", 330 pounds, moves really well, athletic. I think this guy's going to be a beast for the next 10, 15 years in the NFL. So do you like this trade up for Penei Sewell? If you do, type Y for yes. If you're like, no, it's too much, you can go ahead and type your in for no. I like the opportunity, so I went ahead and did it. So I'm obviously going to type my Y for yes. We're going to trade again, so no 2nd round pick because that went to the Vikings with that trade up. I'm going to move down here from 94 overall. I'll pick up 102 overall from San Francisco, add a 6th round pick in the process, get an extra pick there, get a pick back after losing a couple after my initial trade. So at round 3, pick number 102, I'll go ahead and select Paulson Adebo, the cornerback out of Stanford, who also, ironically, opted out in 2020. Moved back a few spots, still get him late in the 3rd round. I think it's good value for Adebo. He was getting some 1st round buzz after 2019 because he was very productive in 2018 and in 2019, but then he opted out this year. So I think 3rd round is about where you'll see him go in the NFL draft. In 22 career games, 97 tackles, 5 TFLs, 8 interceptions. That's a pick every 3 games or so. 27 PBUs, 27 pass breakups in 22 games. That's more than 1 per game. That's really good coverage skills from Paulson Adebo. So I like the value here late in the 3rd round. You get a cornerback, which is also a need as well. You got L'Jarius Sneed. Charvarius Ward is back. He struggled at times in 2020. You got Rashad Fenton, who can play in there as well. But you need another name. We'll see if DeAndre Baker ends up panning out, turning into something. He's obviously a bit of a risk there. I'm not sure if Bashaud Breeland will be back. If he's not, I think you've got to take a corner at some point in this draft. Round 3, Paulson Adebo, I think it's good value. 6'1", 192. He's long, he's rangy, he's got good coverage and ball skills. I like the pick in the 3rd round. There's no doubt about that. Now, what do you guys think the bigger need is? Do you think it's wide receiver or do you think it's cornerback? So obviously you lost Sammy Watkins. You may not have Bashaud Breeland back at corner. Legitimate pieces for this team the past couple of years. So get your votes in, wide receiver or cornerback. What is the bigger need? Now, pick you guys up a Chiefs draft hat before the NFL draft at chatsports.com/Chiefs draft. We have a ton of different hats available for you guys. We got the flat bills, we got the curve bills, fitted, non-fitted, snapbacks, tons of styles and variety available for you guys at chatsports.com/Chiefs draft. We'll put that link in the comments. We'll put it in the description. Don't be the member of Chiefs Kingdom that doesn't have a draft hat this year. Pick one up today. We're giving you guys a good deal. Chatsports.com/Chiefs draft. That link will be in the comments, and it'll be in the description. Next up, Monty Rice, round 4, pick number 136 in my Chiefs mock draft 3.0. The linebacker out of Georgia, above average athlete, not the best athlete, but certainly can hold his own. He's pretty good in coverage, struggles to get off blocks at times. He's a little undersized, not the best run defender by any means. He struggled a little bit in that area. I think you're looking at a depth type of linebacker that maybe down the road could be a starter, and then certainly a special teams player because he's got pretty good athleticism. Was never really a full-time starter at Georgia, was kind of in and out of the starting lineup throughout his 4-year career, but a lot of experience, 115 career tackles, 4 TFLs, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Can do a little bit of everything, but he's not great at anything. I mean, it's the 4th round. This is about what you would expect, right? 49 tackles last year, had a sack and a couple of forced fumbles. 6'1", 235, a tick undersized, but runs pretty well. Good value in the 4th round. He's fairly rangy as a linebacker, can hold his own in coverage against tight ends and against running backs. Round 4, pick number 144, producer Jeremy, a big fan of this one as he is a North Texas grad. Jalen Darden, the wide receiver. We've talked about him before. I've mocked him to Kansas City before, I think in like the 6th or 7th round, but he has been a fast riser the past couple of months. He tested well. Scouts really like him, and he had a monster season at North Texas. Look at these numbers this past year. 19 touchdowns in a shortened season, had almost 1,200 yards, over 16 yards a catch. This guy is moving up draft boards. Some think he could sneak into the 3rd round. I think the 4th round is about the range for him, and Kansas City hasn't replaced Sammy Watkins, so you could certainly bring in a guy like Jalen Darden to come compete at wide receiver with guys like McCole Hardman, Demarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle. I think there's opportunities to earn snaps at this position behind Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Darden is versatile. He can play in the slot. He can play on the outside. I think he can give you some value on special teams. He is a little thin, 5'9", about 170 pounds, but I like his ability. He's fast. He's explosive. I think he fits the mold of what the Chiefs have liked in receivers in years past, guys who can run and who can run very, very fast. So I go Jalen Darden here at the end of round 4 in my Chiefs mock draft 3.0. Subscribe to the Chiefs Report. More draft videos leading up to the NFL draft. Just a couple of weeks away. We'll do some more draft targets. We'll do 1, if not 2 more mock drafts. All kinds of stuff. Maybe we'll do some trade up, some trade down targets. We'll have some fun. YouTube.com/Chiefs TV. We have the latest Chiefs coverage, especially in the next couple of weeks on the draft. So don't miss any of that. Go ahead and subscribe today. Next up, Robert Hainsey, round 5, pick number 175. Experienced player at Notre Dame, the offensive guard, 34 career starts over 4 seasons. Needs to bulk up. He's like 295. You'd like your guards to be at least 305, 310, but he's got potential. He plays bigger than his size, which is certainly good. I think this would be a good situation for him because you don't need a starting guard this year. You have Joe Thuney, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif is opting back in, and Kyle Long, a player you signed as well. You didn't need Hainsey to start. He can come in, be a backup, learn for a year, and then maybe down the road, maybe even in 2022, he could be a starter at right guard because LDT and Kyle Long will both be free agents in 2022, which means that job could be up for grabs, and Hainsey could be a guy that becomes a starter down the road. Like I said, he's a bit undersized, needs to put on a little bit of weight. Treat it like a redshirt year, right? Come in, put on 10, 15 pounds, learn from some vets that have been around for a while, and then, hey, maybe you got your starting right guard of the future in Robert Hainsey. Who is your favorite sleeper prospect this year? I think he fits the mold. I think you're looking at a starter someday in Hainsey. You get him in the 5th round. It's good value. Let me know what you guys think. Favorite sleeper prospect in this year's NFL draft. I want to hear it from you guys right now. Next up, Chauncey Golston, round 5, pick number 181. Powerful edge rusher, has a high motor, 6'5", 270 pounds. That fits the mold of what Spags likes. He likes bigger defensive ends. You can kick him inside from time to time on passing downs if you want to do so. Iowa continues to plug out offensive and defensive linemen just like Chauncey Golston. And the Chiefs need more help coming off the edge. They need more edge rushers. The interior is good. Chris Jones, Jaron Reid, you got some depth there with Kalen Saunders and some other pieces on that interior defensive line as well, but you need another edge rusher opposite of Frank Clark. I'm not saying Golston would start, but he could be a part of a rotation with the likes of a Taco Charlton and a Michael Dana and some other pieces. Maybe you add another guy in free agency. Get another edge rusher in there. Had 5.5 sacks last year for Iowa in a shortened season. I think he's got some real potential. Couple more picks to round this thing up. Kerry Vincent Jr., the quarterback out of LSU. He opted out this year. I think that was a mistake, but this guy can absolutely fly. I think you're looking at a really good special teams player and a depth corner nickel type of hybrid there. 5'10", 190, has decent size, electric speed. I think he's got some real value on special teams. And then one of my favorite deep sleeper prospects, Josh Imatorbhebhe out of Illinois. 6'2", 215. I like his size. Big receiver for Illinois, averaged pretty good yards per catch in college, had a 52-yard grab last year, 3 touchdowns in a shortened season. I think he would give the Chiefs a different look. You could kind of treat him as a redshirt this year as well, where he's, your number 6 wide receiver. Down the road, he becomes maybe your number 4 receiver, a guy you could put in the red zone situations. He can high point the football well. He's really good in jump ball situations. So there you go. That's my Chiefs mock draft 3.0. A couple of trades this time as promised. A, B, C, D, or F. Hand out some grades for me. How do you feel about this Chiefs mock draft? And if you're saying, Harrison, I can't remember all the picks you made, well, we'll just recap them for you, and you can get your grades in as we recap it. So here you go. I traded up for Penei Sewell at number 14 overall. Love if you could find a way to get him somehow. I think it's a long shot, but in this mock draft it worked out. Paulson Adebo at number 102 overall, the corner out of Stanford. Monty Rice, the linebacker out of Georgia in round 4. Jalen Darden, the North Texas wide receiver in round 4 as well. And then your last 4 picks, Robert Hainsey, the offensive lineman out of Notre Dame. Chauncey Golston, the edge rusher out of Iowa. Kerry Vincent Jr., the LSU corner safety hybrid. And then Josh Imatorbhebhe, the wide receiver out of Illinois. That's my Chiefs mock draft 3.0. Get your grades in A, B, C, D, or F.